Am I wrong? Shibitomato says. AIW for telling my parents they're the reason my brother died. For context, my parents and I have a strange relationship because they read my diaries while I was in college. They were under my bed back at home. Very religious, very homophobic people, so they didn't like what they saw. I basically came out to them without actually doing it myself. Didn't talk for a while. My brother, 19, died last weekend and they didn't tell me. I found out yesterday on FB from a tagged post by one of his friends. The funeral is apparently tomorrow and that gives me no time to drive. A plane ticket on this short notice is out of the question. I just can't afford $300 on basically no notice. I called my parents and asked what TF was going on BC. They never said anything to me. When I found out he intentionally owed it struck a nerve. He struggled growing up because of how our parents treated us, got into drugs, and did a couple stints in rehab. When I asked why TF they didn't tell me, they said they didn't need my sin around them during this hard time. Aka they don't want their gay kid at the funeral. I told them they're the reason has dead and immediately felt bad. We don't get along, but I guess that was a heavy thing to blame them for. But had they told me days ago, I would have had time to figure things out. Now I've not only lost my brother, but I can't even see him for the last time. There's too little time to do anything but a plane. I could have even done Amtrak had I known. Half of me regrets what I said, but the other half feels it's true. I don't even feel like I can grieve properly BC of this issue with them. Natasha Voerold says. I'm sorry for your loss Opus. Your question is probably not something Reddit can answer. A human life is a heavy thing. But from what you've written, there might be some truth in what you said. And I don't know if I wouldn't want to hurt the people that denied me a chance to come to terms and say farewell in the form. OK Bodybuilder 4303 says. I hope you make the funeral and you told your parents nothing but the truth. May you find peace, my friend. Shibitomato says. I appreciate this. If I could spawn wings and fly right now, I would. OK Bodybuilder 4303 says. My cousin was buried yesterday. He was close to me when we were younger. Almost like brothers. But his family never bothered to tell me, and I only found out through his ex. I thought about trying to make the drive, but I realized I was going to go to great efforts to be in a room with a group of people most of which actively dislike me. So I stayed home and honored my cousin alone. I'm pretty sure he would have understood. Peace my friend. Him just saying 34 says. I know it must feel bad to say it, but it's probably worth it for your parents to hear. They did cause it, and if they have provided support your brother might still be here. Your parents should sit in that guilt, but you yourself shouldn't have any for saying that. Shibitomato says. They got him help but IDK, if I should really applaud that BC it's what they should do as parents. Plus, they were a big part of the reason he got so deep into it. So yeah, to your point maybe I said something they already knew and didn't want to acknowledge. Impossible Title 1 says. Some airlines might give you a discount due to the bereavement. Try calling a few. Shibitomato says. My friend told me this last night, so I called around and got nothing. Called back in hopes that I'd get a new person, I did, and the answer would change, but nope. At least the employees are well trained. Rossa Velvet XX says. Maybe it's a long shot point but you could post on r/assistant to see if you could get Ed with the plane ticket. You don't have to answer but do you want to go? Grief is so complicated, but maybe you would get better closure having a personal celebration of his life and doing something just to honor your relationship without the strain of two people who had a hard hand in your life. All my love. No one can fathom how you feel right now. I hope you find some peace soon.
Microgiant says, "You are not wrong. Furthermore, please remind your parents of 1 Timothy 5:8. Anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith, and is worse than an unbeliever." They failed you, and they failed your brother, in the name of a faith they've already denied. Shibitomato says, "I'm not even kidding right now, I'm gonna write that on a piece of paper and mail it." Femk says, "Get 2 friends to go to the funeral. They must arrive separately. The first will stand up in the middle of the ceremony and proclaim loudly that he killed himself because of them. The second will wait until the burial and interrupt the priest to tell everyone they're bad parents because they didn't tell their surviving child about it deliberately, so he couldn't attend. NTA, they more than earned it. If I were you, I'd be spending the next few decades thinking about how to make their lives hellish." Rolling Beardo says, "It's not the same, but one of my best friends was killed in a car accident and the image that is forever burned in my brain is him laying on gurney in the air. I can still see clearly today in mind, and it happened almost 20 years ago. I will spare you the rest of the details, but needless to say I would have preferred for that not to be my last image of him. Remember him as he was, celebrated his life in a way that would have made him happy and brings you peace, not surrounded by people who are filled with hate." Significant Repair 42 says, "I'm sorry for your loss. Remember that you can have your own memorial service for your brother. Call the place and see if there is a Zoom option." Long Jump in Jimu 6094 says, "NTA, you were honest. They entirely destroyed their family with unreasonable hate, and it is entirely their own fault." Creative Peanut 5338 says, "Your parents sound like horrible people. You aren't wrong for what you said. I'd recommend you go NC with them, as they are clearly toxic people. People might even be a stretch." Grumpy G says, "Can't you borrow money to see him one last time? The pain is still fresh. You are angry, and you have every right to be. Focus on yourself to grieve properly." Am I wrong? PJP 288,710 says, "A were for feeling hurt, and like she was trying to manipulate me into feeling guilty?" Quick background, in a 5-year relationship, 36-year-old male here with 33-year-old girlfriend, and the last 6 months have been long distance. This morning she texted me a screenshot of a friend of hers who is a guy, and he's about to have kids apparently, she said, and texted her good morning at 6:30 AM her time. Basically insinuating that I should be texting her earlier in the morning, and it would be okay if I did, since her phone is on silent. She usually wakes up between 9 to 10 AM, so I will text her that at 10 amish. I've already texted her letting her know that I'm hurt by the whole exchange and that if the shoe was on the other foot she wouldn't be cool at all with me texting a female friend good morning and then basically shaming her with a screenshot. She's apologized, said the dude has been a long-time friend who is having a kid soon, and that he texted her that with a song recommendation because he sometimes sends her some songs. Am I crazy to still feel hurt, and that she is trying to manipulate me by sending that?" Macaredit 74 says, "Nope. She tried to shame you and used another guy, whether platonic or not, to do it. Not cool, and emo." Potential Teacup 76 says, "The fact that she didn't clarify who the guy was until you called her out for doing something intentionally hurtful and manipulative is a big red flag to me. She was essentially negging you and insinuating that you need to step up because she has other options / guys willing to give her the attention she wants. It's gross when guys do it, and it's equally gross when girls do it. Is she going to compare you to any guy that gives her the barest amount of attention whenever she feels insecure in your relationship? Sounds exhausting." Panachi 19 says, "Not wrong. She's playing games." Jacasta 316 says,
She's playing games, trying to make you jealous. Don't fall for it. Break up and let her know she can message all the men she wants now. Don't do a long distance relationship. They hardly ever work out. She's getting attention and validation from other men. You are not wrong. Ashamed Director 428 says. She's definitely playing games and trying to manipulate you. If she wanted to wake up to a message from you, she could easily say, hey, I know I wake up at X time, and so that's when you TXT me, but I'd love it if you TXT me as soon as you woke up. And you could decide from there. But instead she tried to make you jealous, and like if you weren't willing to do it, well, she's already got someone lined up who will. She tried to make you feel inadequate, and like you weren't trying hard enough. Local Brilliant 5564 says. Not wrong. What she did was a high school move, shit even a middle school one, because it's so damn childish. I can't imagine what her endgame was with that one, but I'd be pretty pissed. Pink Poodle Nuddy says. Don't do long distance unless she is in school. Any other reason, your name might as well be cash and prizes. Adulting Ginkily says. Not wrong. Total thing move. She could have said, my friend texted me early this morning, and I realized I'd like to wake up to early morning texts from you. It's cute as he, and she's using her GD words. Bulky Vast 267 says. Dump her, man. She shouldn't be texting another guy, friend or not. Big red flag. She be doing more than texting him, be playing you both. Fearless Button 6388 says. You are wrong. Seriously? What are you? A high school student? You're already 36 years old. Your girlfriend might want to receive a text from you before she opens her eyes, and not what you are currently doing. She can't say it to you directly, so she just uses a screenshot to give you a hint. Unfortunately, you are so slow and don't understand and ask the stranger's opinion. Yeah, believe that she's manipulating you, playing games, red flag, etc. You've been with her for 5 years, not 5 days, not 5 months, 5 long years. It's only a text, and yet, you think the worst from your girlfriend. Yes, follow all the Redditors here who suggested dumping your girlfriend. Throw all the 5 long years. Anyway, it's not her loss. It's yours. Grow up, again, and again. You are wrong and are. Band-Aid Fetcher 7534 says. Not wrong. If she wants an earlier text, she could have just told you that. The way she went about this was immature and hurtful. Not to mention kinda sketchy. I know I'd be sus if I was shown good morning texts from another woman. Impossible Demand 62 says. Good lord. The timing of a good morning text is what she's willing to risk her relationship over? She could literally just come to you and say it bothers her, but at the age of 33 she chooses to passive-aggressively send you a screenshot from another guy. Precast says. Plus sending songs to a girl with a boyfriend is a red flag. Like holy crap, baby, this song makes me think about you. Oh, and good morning. Candid Performer 548 says. NTA, this is extremely manipulative. What is her end goal here? Regedikundi says. You're not wrong at all. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.